Geoffrey fell in love with Lily back in 5th grade. He would look at her wavy hair, sloppily gathered in a ponytail, and his heart would skip a beat. And when Lily laughed, her bell-like voice gave Geoffrey goosebumps. Though to be honest, Geoffrey wasn't the only one in love with Lily. Half the class of boys would turn their heads when she entered the classroom. And Lily knew she was beautiful and talented and used it to her advantage. She would ask one boy to carry her backpack home and another to bring her a box of sweets. And on New Year's Eve, 3 boys even got into a fight over her. Geoffrey won. He didn't talk to his classmates for a long time after that, but at least he had Lily. He would walk her home holding her hand. They even kissed. They were both 16 years old then. But a year later, Lily was dancing at the local disco with older guys. Geoffrey was very upset then. She was with him and not with him at the same time. Geoffrey's grandfather, Mr. Collins, with whom Geoffrey lived after his parents' death, tried to console him. "You're suffering for the wrong one." He shook his head. "Lily took after her mother, who was a party girl. Probably all the guys in the village had been with her. And then she went to the city and came back pregnant. She gave birth to Lily. So, grandson, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree." "Grandpa, why are you saying that?" Geoffrey looked at Mr. Collins reproachfully. "Lily is just fun-loving and takes life easy, but I'm sure she loves me." "Oh dear, time will tell." Mr. Collins disagreed. "But my advice to you is to forget about her." "That's it." But Geoffrey didn't listen to his grandfather, and as soon as Lily winked at him, he was already by her side. After school she went to culinary school, so Geoffrey followed her there. He actually wanted to go to radio engineering college, but it was far from the culinary school. However, almost next door, they taught auto mechanics. So Geoffrey enrolled there, just to be near Lily. At first, Lily really only looked at Geoffrey. She was shy in the big city after the village, so she clung to Geoffrey. And he was so happy. He hurried to his beloved after his studies, walked with her in the park, took her to a cafe, cinema. Geoffrey thought that Lily would now only be his. But the girl quickly adapted to the city and found herself another admirer besides Geoffrey. At first he didn't suspect anything, but Lily began to skip dates more and more often, citing busy studying. And then he saw her getting into an expensive car. He didn't see the driver then, but Lily, after he asked her who she was riding around the city with, she just laughed. "Are you jealous?" The girl shook her curls. "Jealous, silly. This is Mary, my classmate. Her boyfriend gave her the car, and we went for a ride with her." "What kind of gifts?" Geoffrey muttered. "Does she have a millionaire as a boyfriend or something?" "No, not a millionaire. Just knows how to make deals." Lily shrugged and squinted at Geoffrey. "And what would you do for me?" "I'd give my life for you," Geoffrey exclaimed. "Life!" Lily chuckled, then kissed Geoffrey indifferently and went to her dormitory. Geoffrey never understood why she suddenly became so cold, and the next day he didn't see her again. And then Lily's roommate Nancy couldn't take it any more and told him everything. "She has another boyfriend," Nancy blurted out. "She's gone with him again." "But she said she was with her friend Mary." Geoffrey's throat even dried up from what he heard. "With her friend?" Nancy chuckled. "I'm sorry, she's making a fool of you and cheating on you." After hearing Lily's words, Geoffrey shrank as if struck. His face changed and he turned and left, deciding to wait for Lily at the entrance of the dormitory. He was waiting for a long time, and it got dark. Lily arrived in the same car at 2 a.m, and the car immediately drove off. The girl ran to the dormitory doors without noticing Geoffrey, but he called out to her. Lily approached, looking confused. "Geoffrey? And what are you doing here? Are you following me?" "So it's true what they say to me?" Geoffrey asked. "Are you cheating on me?" "Cheating?" Lily laughed. "Oh, not. I am choosing Geoffrey. I was thinking who was better between you guys, and you know, it's not in your favour. Ben is rich, attentive, he gives me flowers and takes me to the restaurants. And what can you give me? Just moonlit walks? But I love you." "So does he," Lily laughed. "Okay, buddy, I'm going. It's time for me to sleep." As she clacked her heels towards the porch, Geoffrey watched her go. The door to the dormitory closed behind her, and he stood there stunned. That's it. His soul was empty, and his heart was cold. Nothing else held him in this city. The next morning, Geoffrey picked up his documents from the technical school and went to the station. A few hours later, he was knocking on the window of his native house. Grandpa understood everything, although Geoffrey was lying about uninteresting education. "So, Lily dumped you, right?" he asked directly. "She did," the guy admitted dejectedly. "I've told you, grandson," Mr. Collins exploded. "I've told you to stay away from her, and you kept saying that you loved her. That's what you got in the end." Grandpa raged for a long time, and Geoffrey sat there almost crying, not saying another word. Eventually, Mr. Collins calmed down, patted the guy on the shoulder, and even cheered him up, saying that he would have so many more lilies. But a month later, Lily returned to the village. She came to apologize to Geoffrey, crying. "Geoffrey, forgive me." Lily wiped away tears. "I was stupid. I realized that I love you. But it's too late. Only you. And that guy, I made a mistake. He turned out to be a scoundrel and not at all rich. He stole this car, and from me he stole a laptop and the last money. Fortunately, my roommates collected some money for the trip." "So if he were rich, you would still be with him?" Geoffrey looked her straight in the eye. "What are you saying?" Lily began to convince him so sincerely. "I don't need him. As soon as you left, I understood everything right away. I need you, Geoffrey." The girl rushed into Geoffrey's arms, and he felt her hair's scent, the touch of her delicate skin. It was stronger than his willpower. He still loved Lily. They spent that night in Geoffrey's room. Mr. Collins was hard of hearing, so he didn't hear that they had unexpected guests. But in the morning, he saw her. He cursed, wanted to drive Lily out, but Geoffrey stopped him. He said she was his life, and he would decide what to do. And he would still be together with Lily. So Lily and Geoffrey were back together, and 2 weeks later, Lily happily ran to Geoffrey. "Geoffrey, I took a test, and there are 2 stripes here," she blurted out on the threshold. "I'm pregnant." Geoffrey was surprised. "So fast?" "Did you forget," Lily pouted, "about that night at your place, and how your grandpa wanted to kick me out the next morning?" "No, of course not, my love." Geoffrey drew the girl to himself, hugged her and kissed her. "I'm happy, really happy. It's just unexpected." That same day, they went to the registry office to file an application. The grandfather was scolding the whole week, but his grandson wouldn't listen to him. Geoffrey was happy because his dream would come true. "You're a fool, Geoffrey," scolded Mr. Collins. "You got involved with a bad woman and you won't be able to untangle yourself. Shame on you. You're embarrassing me in front of people in my old age. How am I supposed to face honest people now?" "Grandpa, we're going to have a baby," replied Geoffrey. "A family, a baby. What a fool you are, Geoffrey." sighed Mr. Collins. "She's been with everyone in the city." "Grandpa, she's my woman, and this is my child," firmly answered Geoffrey. The old man waved his hand, indicating that he wanted nothing more to do with it. There was no wedding. The young couple just registered their marriage. Lily moved in with Geoffrey. They hardly spoke with Mr. Collins. He didn't like his daughter-in-law. However, over time the old man softened a bit. Who knows, maybe everything will be all right between Geoffrey and this good-for-nothing girl. Lily gave birth to a daughter slightly earlier than expected, but the doctors assured them that it wouldn't affect the baby. However, something unexpected happened. The little girl was born with a serious eye condition. She wasn't blind, but doctors suspected retinal detachment. All of this could lead to blindness. Lily was in such shock that she wanted to leave the baby at the hospital. But when Mr. Collins found out, he raised a fuss. Who is she? A puppy or something? However, even a puppy deserves a better attitude. And this is a child, a human being. So it's fate. Geoffrey fully agreed with his grandfather. He would accept any child of his own, and besides, medicine was constantly improving. The first year was more or less normal, but as Molly, as they named the girl, grew up, her eyesight became worse and worse. By the age of 3, the little girl was completely blind. Lily became irritated with trivial things, and she found it burdensome to take care of her own daughter. After all, a blind child required more attention. They couldn't stray too far from her, but Lily wanted a walk in the village or to have some fun in the neighbouring city. Meanwhile, the doctors didn't give up on the child's health. Surgery was necessary, but it was costly. And then Geoffrey, who had worked as a simple mechanic on a farm before, got a job in a lumber yard. They paid much more there. In principle, Lily was fine with it, but she didn't think about her daughter, only about getting more money for herself. Mr. Collins didn't meddle in their relationship. He only dealt with his great-granddaughter. He loved the little girl. Geoffrey had been working for a month, and then another accident happened. He was crushed by a log during loading, so badly that he spent a week in the intensive care unit. The doctors did what they could to save his spine, but little came of it. Geoffrey was discharged from the hospital as an invalid. His body, below the waist, became like a stranger to him, paralysed. Nothing could be done at the district hospital. A consultation was needed in the capital, and of course, money for it. Lily became gloomier than ever. A blind daughter, a disabled husband, a grumpy old man, and she was still young. Why does she have to go through all that? Lily cried at night, feeling sorry for herself, and then cried again the next night. And finally, she packed her things, said she was going to the city, and slammed the door. Geoffrey just silently watched her leave. Molly was sleeping, and her mother didn't even come to say goodbye. Mr. Collins spat after his daughter-in-law. He didn't expect anything else from her. The old man started to take care of his great-granddaughter and his disabled grandson. It was hard for him because he was in his 80s. Lily's mother pretended not to know anything about her son-in-law or granddaughter. And then Geoffrey's friend arrived here. Terry lived in the city, but his parents brought him to the village to his grandparents every summer. Now the elderly people have passed away, but the house remains. So Terry would come here in the summer, like to our summer house. He and Geoffrey were friends since childhood. Terry came to visit his friend and found out that Geoffrey was bedridden and his daughter was left without a mother. "That's how we live, Terry," said Mr. Collins sadly. "Maybe you can suggest something. How can we take Geoffrey to the city?" "I can help," agreed Terry. He was firmly standing on his feet, having a large business in the city. I'll take Geoffrey to the capital, and we'll take Molly too. We'll show her to the specialists. So, Geoffrey, are you okay with that? Geoffrey just nodded. Of course he didn't want to be a burden to his friend with his problems, but no one else could help him. They quickly dealt with Geoffrey's problem in the capital. His bones and nerves were intact. There was no need for surgery. Thanks to massage and physiotherapy, Geoffrey was able to stand on his feet in a couple of months. But with Molly, things turned out to be more complicated. The surgery was possible, but it cost a lot of money. Even Terry couldn't afford it. I'm sorry, my friend, he said to Geoffrey, but I don't have that much. I understand, Geoffrey replied. Thank you for helping me. And also, when Molly was checked, it turned out that she was not Geoffrey's daughter. As soon as Mr. Collins found out, he got furious at Lily, but he didn't refuse Molly and Geoffrey, despite the DNA results. Still considered her his daughter. So they continued to live together. Geoffrey got a job as a driver for Terry and was constantly travelling to the city. 3 years passed, and Molly grew up. She was supposed to go to school, but where to go if she was blind? And then a young teacher came to school. Kaya Donovan had completed courses on how to work with blind children as well. She suggested teaching the girl at home. One day, when Geoffrey had a day off, they met with Kaya. The girl was teaching Molly at the time. Geoffrey, who hadn't looked at women all these years, suddenly felt that this young teacher had touched his soul, and Kaya liked Geoffrey. Soon they started a relationship, and Mr. Collins was only happy. He liked Kaya, kind, friendly, decent woman. Soon Kaya found out that Molly could sing well, and she suggested going to the city and performing concerts in the square, and people would donate money for treatment. Mr. Collins hesitated, wondering how much they could raise, but Geoffrey liked the idea too. In childhood, grandfather Mr. Collins had taught him to play the accordion, and that accordion was still gathering dust on the shelf. The first concert didn't go well. Molly was shy and Geoffrey had forgotten how to play, but soon their concerts were a success. While they sang and played, their audience threw money into the box where it was written, "For Molly's operation, help the girl regain her sight." Then the media got involved. A foundation helped, and then one day the entire amount was raised, and Molly and Geoffrey flew to Israel, where the girl was successfully operated on. When they returned to their country, Kaya was there to greet them at the airport. "Mummy!" Molly yelled upon seeing Kaya, and the woman ran over to the woman and hugged her. The little girl had grown so accustomed to Kaya that she had begun to think of her as her mother. She recognized her right away, even though she hadn't seen her before. She felt it in her heart. Geoffrey was thrilled, especially since he was already planning to propose to Kaya. They got married very soon after. Time passed and Geoffrey and Kaya had 2 more sons. Mr. Collins was thrilled that his grandson's life had finally come together, and he could finally rest easy. The grandfather's soul was calm, and one autumn morning he died in his sleep from old age. After burying the old man, Geoffrey and his family moved to the city where they settled. Geoffrey worked for Terry and Kaya worked at the school. 10 years passed. Geoffrey and his family visited the village and the cemetery every autumn. They would come, tidy up the grave and the house. They came again this time. Kaya was preparing lunch with the boys at home, while Geoffrey and Molly went to see the grandfather's grave. Over the year, the grave had become overgrown, so father and daughter cleaned it up. "We need to change the photo on the gravestone next year. This one has faded," Geoffrey pointed out. "Yes, let's use the photo where he's smiling." Molly nodded. "I really like that one. And Grandpa liked it too, I remember." "Let's do it," Geoffrey agreed. Then they heard a branch crack. They turned around. Lily was standing there. Geoffrey didn't recognize her at first. She had aged so much and had lost so much weight. But it was her. Did he really ever love her? "Daughter, it's her," Geoffrey said softly, looking at Molly. "Your biological mother." "She?" Molly knew that her birth mother had abandoned her when she was blind. But over the years, the hurt had faded, and now Molly was just interested to see her. An old, worn down by life woman. "Hello," Lily finally whispered, looking at Molly. "My mother told me you were here, so I hurried to see you. I'm sorry." She suddenly sobbed and fell to her knees. "Daughter, please forgive me." Lily reached out to Molly, and the girl even recoiled at first, but then she approached her mother and helped her up. "Dad," Molly looked at Geoffrey. "You go ahead. We'll talk." Geoffrey nodded silently and went behind the cemetery fence. He didn't know what they would be talking about, but Molly came out 20 minutes later and sat next to her father in the car. "Have you talked?" Geoffrey asked. "Yeah, nothing special," Molly calmly replied. "She asked for forgiveness, and I already forgave her. Dad, who is she to me? No one. My mother is Kaya, but I gave her my phone number so she can call if she likes. I didn't push her away like she did to me. Do you think I did the right thing, Dad?" "You did everything right, daughter," Geoffrey nodded. "You're a smart girl. Let's go. Your mother and brothers have probably already set the table." The car slowly started moving, and Lily stood at the cemetery gate wiping away tears. Pain and sorrow were eating away at her heart, but the past couldn't be brought back, and the mistakes of her wild youth couldn't be undone. Lily walked along the dusty road, realizing that she could have been a happy woman, together with her daughter and husband Geoffrey. But she abandoned them, and in the end, she was abandoned too, and no one needed her anymore. That's how her story ended.